Hey, we'll take you out for sodas or something.
That's right. Welcome to the Simpleton Review. Thank you so much for joining us. I am your host, Simpleton number 1, Mr. Nate.
Hey, and I'm Charlie Gibson, Simpleton number 2.
Lemuel as Simpleton 3. That was weird.
You're Lemuel S. Simpleton? Is that what you said? That's
going
to be your new
Lemuel
name.
My brain just shut off.
And here we
for
have
a second
Lemuel
there.
S. Simpleton. Yes, there we go. And as you can tell, it's just 3 of us this time around. Trista, unfortunately, could not join us, and that's too bad for us because you have just entered a very intellectually deflated, devoided review. But we hope to, hold your interest for at least 26 seconds. All right? Okay. So today we are reviewing one of the biggest movies of 2023 and one of the longest movies of 2023, Oppenheimer. And let me give you a little bit of a synopsis of Oppenheimer. I got it right here. Let's do the IMDb synopsis, because they're so short and succinct and great. The story of American scientist J. Robert Oppenheimer and his role in the development of the atomic bomb. They're not wrong. They're not wrong. All right, director is Christopher Nolan, known for his movies like, small movies like Batman and Inception, tiny movies.
Yeah, it's just
and it stars, I think his name is Cillian. Is that how you say it? Or is it Cillian? Cillian Murphy, Emily Blunt, Matt Damon, among 500 billion other famous actors. In this movie. So let's go ahead and start talking about Oppenheimer, and we promise this review will be shorter than the movie. Lemuel, go ahead.
I don't think it's exactly difficult to be shorter than that movie, because, oh boy, was it a long one. I found the editing was probably the most interesting thing about this whole movie. The way they split up all the different storylines, probably to keep it shorter, but to make it feel like a flashback while maintaining movement on what's happening at the current state of time. How you could tell that when we were in the present because it was black and white, and then we were in the past when it was colored in, which is usually the opposite. I thought that was interesting choices. A lot of the cuts were weird. I don't know how to discuss them on this family-friendly podcast, but there were some weird cuts that I found interesting.
Yeah.
The music was pretty heavy the whole time. I think you said that right after we walked out of the theater. There was a lot of soundtrack going on, but I think it was more impactful when the soundtrack was not playing, especially like right after the bomb went off and there was like another scene where when he was talking, I think the soundtrack just like fully cuts out. Yeah. You recognize that. You realize that is a thing that is happening, and the whole scene when he's giving the speech after the bomb goes off and he starts dealing with the reality that blood is on his hands is incredible. Some of the most impactful just shots, sound editing, video editing, like this very minimal CGI of the background kind of like shimmering. So good.
Yeah. Charlie?
This is one of those movies that you love and hate it. Because it goes all over the board. Sometimes it gets really confusing, sometimes not so much. Sometimes you want to love the guy, sometimes you want to hate him. He was the best scientist, salesman, coordinator, you name it. Yeah. The guy had to do it to get this off the ground. I mean, you could tell that he was overexcited about being able to gather the best minds in the world, but oh man, the payoff when they finally realized the destruction that was had, you could tell it just ruined him. And then all the fallout that came with it, that everything waits on you, no matter what you choose, whether you think it's for good or ill, and he has a great scene with playing Oppenheimer and Albert Einstein together where they meet, and it really plays a lot to understanding a scientist and where he goes and where he comes from. So I don't know. There are so many ups and downs to it. It's a full film. The drama in it is extreme.
That's a good way to put it. A full film. Now, is it the most confusing Christopher Nolan movie I've ever seen? No. It is. That one movie is. What's the name of that movie? Dear Lord.
Oh, it just came out a couple of years ago.
There was a Tenet.
Yeah.
Tenet. Yes, that was okay.
That one had some plot holes in it that trucks could drive through. Most people were confused enough with Memento.
Yeah. But here's another movie where he has to deal with time, right? He's always got to have that in there somewhere. I think Cillian Murphy did a fantastic job. I mean, just you could feel the weight of what's going on in his eyes. He's not painted as a good character in this movie. He's not painted as a bad character. He's just painted as a human, I guess you could say. Were there scenes that I think I could have done without? I get it. But did you have to show some of the stuff? Maybe I'm a prude. I don't know. But it's like, okay, we get it. Can we move on? You know what I mean? Did you understand what I'm saying as far as that was concerned? I don't know. Maybe that.
The setting, the affair scene. Like, in the courtroom kind of scene. Yeah. Where they reenacted it right there.
Yeah. I'm just like, I don't know. Well, I honestly, I was been thinking about that, and I'm like, look, and she obviously had to agree to this, but I'm thinking, is it just an excuse for Christopher Nolan to get to see Florence Pugh's body? Is that what we're doing? That was Florence Pugh that was playing that character, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm just like, is this what you? I mean, are you just trying to get your jollies off of here, Mr. Nolan? Because it just seemed like a little bit, almost pushing being extortive. Extortive on her, and it was just like, but she had to agree to it, obviously. So it wasn't just him that But I don't know. That whole, I get it. He was not a good guy. He was a playboy. He was a womanizer, and they mentioned that fact in that movie. I liked Robert Downey Jr.'s acting in this movie. It was phenomenal. Like I mentioned to the kids after we got out of the movie, I'm old enough to remember Robert Downey Jr. before Iron Man, before he was even in jail. I remember, and he has always been a really good actor. And I'm not saying he didn't do a good job as Tony Stark in Iron Man. Of course he did. But this one, you could just feel that depth, like really
totally
mellow.
Nailed it.
Yeah, really mellow at the beginning. And if you don't know the story, you don't know if he's a bad guy or a good guy in a sense, until he gets towards the end and you realize what a selfish prick he is by the end of the movie. But he doesn't. It doesn't feel that way at the beginning of the movie. It feels like he's for Oppenheimer, right? That's how how Nolan wrote the script. Fantastic job, just really good. But yeah, the music was overwhelming. It's like, dude, you need to chill on the soundtrack here. Just a few minutes of peace and quiet without the music in the background would have been okay. I would have been okay with that, especially 3 hours. And I guarantee you, 2 hours and 45 minutes of that was with music. It's like, oh. It was cool. The music was cool, but it was so there in your face constantly. And I don't know if that was a directive decision, like this movie's going to really be boring if we don't put some music in the background, because it was so dialogue driven. This movie, there's not action in it at all. It's all dialogue driven movie, right?
Yeah.
And so maybe he's thinking, well, 3 hours is going to be really boring if we don't do something. And I guess maybe that's what he decided. I don't know. What do you guys think?
I think the music playing the whole time and the way it was cut did make it feel like a bit of a montage like the whole time. Instead of having the montage at the beginning where he's setting everything up, like it just keeps going until the last third of the movie, maybe the last quarter, where now all of a sudden things are progressing normally for a second. But it was so short-lived. Yeah. I don't know.
Well, I'll tell you what, I hear my grandbaby squawking in the background. I don't know if that means because Mama's got him up or if he's waiting for somebody to get him up. So let's hurry up and wrap this up. Yeah. Let's give our scores. I'm going to go first this time. I'm going to say Oppenheimer gets a 3.5 for me. It is worthy of certification, but there's certain things that I'm like, yeah, we could have done this a little better, maybe a little bit of shorter time frame. Fantastic script nonetheless, fantastic acting. The weight of the movie is there. The weight of this world-changing, history-changing event is definitely there. So I can't fault Nolan. He's still a masterful director. But there's some issues I have with it. So a 3.5 overall for me. Charlie?
I'm going to say the same. I'm going to give it a 3.5. I think this is certifiable. My hang-ups are strictly, nuances that might make you crazy. But at the same time, the story was solid. The gravity of each character was nailed. I think that the transitions, even though they were quick and often, they were followable, at least a bit. So even if you didn't catch it all the way, your brain caught up in the further ends, as you kept watching.
Right. Yeah, I felt that too. That's how I felt as I was watching. You bet. Lemuel?
I think I'm going to give it a 4. Would I watch it again? Probably not. I don't have the time. But
there was a time commitment.
My editor brain really liked all the transitions. Every one of them was clean, never jarring at all. I liked the way he handled having the weight of the world on his shoulders in terms of the acting and all that sort of stuff. I liked the parts of the soundtrack that felt like the train, and then the stomping feet, like how they were sounded the same. And then I liked how the soundtrack often resembled like sirens for, you know, bombs going off and stuff. So I didn't miss all those things, and yeah, so I'll give it a 4.
And there was incredible acting, like Cillian Murphy, Robert Downey Jr., Matt Damon, just phenomenal. And the ladies, who is the lady who played Oppenheimer's wife? What's her name in real life?
Emily Blunt.
Is that Emily Blunt?
Yeah.
Was it? Okay, yeah, Emily Blunt. And
yeah.
Yeah, and Florence Pugh, of course. I mean, and just they're so good. The acting was so freaking good. It was amazing. Yeah, I can't say enough about how well that was done as far as that was concerned. But and then there was even an appearance from what was that? Josh?
Yeah,
Drake?
Josh Peck.
Yeah.
I don't think that's his actual last name, but you know how it is.
Yeah, Drake and Josh. From the is that Disney Channel show?
It's Nickelodeon. He's
Nickelodeon. Yeah.
Oh, Josh. Either way, he's the only one who's not besmirched his name.
And even the Skarsgård guy did a fantastic job. I don't know that there's so many Skarsgårds, I can't keep their first names separate. But the one scientist, the taller one,
oh yeah,
that's a Skarsgård, and he plays the best friend of Ragnar in the Vikings TV show on the History Channel. Fantastic, good acting job. I mean, it was simple, but it was effective how he pulled it off. Skarsgårds are all good actors. They're all really good. So yeah, it's certifiable by us. 4 by Lemuel, 3.5 and 3.5 by Charlie and 8. Go see it. I know most of you have. It's another movie that is just pretty much just brought the box office back to life, baby. This year has been nothing but just success after success for the movie theaters, and that's a good thing. I'm not I gotta tell you, I'm probably like everybody else. I'm not a big fan of going to the movies all the time, but I don't think they should go away because I think they're worth it. I think they're good to have around. I'm a movie buff, right? And if there's some movies you just gotta see on the big screen, like Dune is coming out soon. That's gotta be a big screen event right there. Saw the first. Oh, all right. You guys, you have a wonderful week. Please tell us what you thought of the Oppenheimer movie. Tell us if you think we're just full of crap. Again, I'll tell you that you're wrong, but you can tell us that. It's fine. Please like and subscribe to our YouTube channel, and we'd love to see you sometime. We won't be doing any Comic-Cons anytime soon, probably never. So you'll never meet us or get to see our autographs or get to have, unless you want it. I mean, we could put that on our Patreon if you want.
When you come out to Boise, you'll run into us.
Yeah, that's true. Come on over
to
Boise.
Around Boise, we'll take you out for sodas or something.
That's right. And we also do have a Patreon. I never mentioned that fact. We do have a Patreon account. You can find us at Simpleton Review on Patreon. I have one amazing Patreon Patreon supporter, and I truly appreciate it. His name is Charlie, but he is he does a fantastic. Thanks, Charlie. But go check it out. We got some great stuff. Charlie will even paint you a painting if you subscribe at a certain
Absolutely.
level. So yeah, please come to our Patreon. Anyways, we love you so much. Thank you for watching for the 26 seconds. I'm sure nobody's watching us now. Have a great day. We'll see you next time here on the Simpleton Review. Bye-bye.